Let me know. Well, we're live.
All right. We will look into that for sure. Clash of the Pencils Live starts now.
Turn on the stream tonight. Short stories in the spotlight. Writers bring their best to light. Story Central Time. Breaking down the plots. Characters that fought. Twist and hit the spot. It's all you live tonight. Are you ready for some stories? In a live stream glory. It's the contest of the year. Writers have no fear. Catch the suspense unfold. Feel the tales being told. Critiques fair and bold. The truth will soon be known. Jawless from far and wide. Mysteries you can't hide. Every twist takes the story right. By these rules we abide. Are you ready for some stories? In a live stream glory. It's the contest of the year. Writers have no fear.
Welcome to the Clash of the Pencils live stream, the only creative writing esport league in the history of every single word I just said. My name is Tom Sherman, your host. Alongside me, as always, Greg the Reader Peterson. We are here to analyze the top 3 stories of the day that have been submitted from authors around the internet and then ran through our Storybot 3000 generator. So, if you want to play or are interested in what is going on, this is what is happening, maybe. Something we like to call the radar chart of doom. Now, as everybody knows, the radar chart is the most exciting and least used chart on all of Microsoft Excel, Google spreadsheets, and any spreadsheet provider. So what we have done is measured the plot, the setting, and the characters of all 3 stories on a radar chart of doom. And that graphic is kind of backwards. The wider the triangle you can make on the radar chart, you want the biggest presence, a massive storm cloud on that radar chart of doom. Between those 3 settings, you can then I don't know. That's a story, right?
You've only got one page. You've only got one page to spread that Doppler radar chart of doom onto character, plot, and setting. It's always imperfect, but that's the point. We're here to analyze them.
Like a baby with a fork on a live stream, it is always imperfect, folks. So here's where we're at today with the scoreboard. We had 5 submissions today. Wow, today is Friday. Time flies. Only contest of the week. So it's going to determine it all. Dynamite, Mr. Whiskers, Nacho Story, The Huntsman, and Marvin the Microbe all in contention today. So the only way we can figure out who's in the top 3 is to just start going through it and see what's happening. So why not, as the kids say, right?
Let's do it. So what's the prompt?
Oh, shoot. Let's see. Hopefully it's queued up. Nope, it's not. The prompt is, it's on here somewhere. Prompt, your story's beginning, middle, or ending must include this sentence. This potion does not work on tigers. All right, so bearing that in mind, across the radar chart of doom, where do you think our authors are going to need to go here today, Greg?
Well, with the line, this potion does not work on tigers, it seems like we know one of the characters is a tiger. And then there's going to be a magical object. There's a potion somewhere in this world. So we're in the fantasy realm or a genre. The fact that the tiger, is it going to be a talking tiger? Is it going to be a gritty, realistic zoological thriller? I don't know. But I think we have a little bit of character and a little bit of the setting already spelled out for us. You are muted.
Lid the kid in the control room, knowing that my analysis is pointless and the only thing that people want to see is the first story of the day. So, without further ado, here is Nacho's story.
Swoosh, poof, Karanadam! Ding! Ding! Time was up, and my group just finished our magic potion to enter the contest. Just as my friend Lila was handing it in, Olivia cupped her hand over her mouth. Oh my God, She trailed off, not wanting to continue. You what? You farted. You gave your dog chocolate. You jumped off a skyscraper and survived. You what? I asked, impatient. I forgot to put the citric acid in the potion, Olivia stammered, getting ready to be beat up by Lila and I. But that's the whole magic potion activator, Lila exclaimed. Olivia hung her head low, not knowing what to do. That's okay, I said, trying to be optimistic. We'll see what happens. All right, contestants, let's test the potions. Our first animal is going to be a squirrel, the judge announced. First up, we have the cuckoo bananas. As the judge poured the slimy green liquid onto the innocent squirrel, magically, the animal started dancing. Amazing! Team Bananas, you have passed the first round. Over the cheering and squealing, it was our turn. Let's see what you've got, cheesy chestnuts. Will the bunny start shaking its booty? Squeezing my hands together hard, I sighed in relief as the bunny started jumping and zigzagging around. After a few more groups passed the first round, it was time for the second round. After a few dings and a lot of womp womps, it was finally our turn. Chestnuts, let's find out if this tiger will start going cheesy just like you, get it? No? Okay, anyways, here it goes. As the pinkish liquid trickled onto the tiger, nothing happened. 2 seconds passed. Nothing. 5, 7, 10. There was a series of groans from the audience, and there it was. Our potion had failed. This potion doesn't work on tigers, Lila fumed. Any other animal would work. It had to be the stupid fat tiger. She stormed off the stage. Lila, come back. I tried chasing after her, but due to the fact that she does track and field, I gave up after a few steps. Oh well, this wasn't what I was expecting, but I guess it works too.
All right. So here we have a team has entered a potion contest of some sort that is trying to determine whether or not their potion can make animals dance. After a few rounds of success, their potion fails due on the tiger round. Classic bear trap, rather a tiger trap of a round. And contestant storms off, cannot be chased because she runs track and field.
She runs track and field. You're gonna give up.
Can't do much about it.
I thought that the voice here was incredibly active and dynamic, really, really strong. We get so much good onomatopoeia, which is the sound of the words. It starts off with a swoosh, poof, karanadam, ding, ding, right? And so then that we're already drawn into with this sort of rich lyrical sentence. It's kind of chaotic, but it's very, I want to lean in and know more. And then we get a little of the premise. Time was up and my group had just finished our magic potion to enter the contest. So it's disorienting. And then we get the contest. If we had said the first sentence there, like we were in a magic potion contest, that doesn't make sense. But here, the urgency of the ding, ding, the bell, that comes through later on in the story. We get, after a few dings and a lot of womp womps, it was finally our turn. I like how the success here is signaled by those kind of sound effects.
Yeah.
What did you notice, Tom?
I enjoyed that the specificity about like having the teams all named and the way specific animals reacted in this contest, which the contest isn't really named. You don't really get a big picture of like the world that it's in specifically, but it's kind of like all of a sudden you've just zoomed into a random window on a random street in some interesting fantasy world where they're having this, you know what I mean, this like animal dance contest, and it's almost like an underground like cockfight or something, you know what I mean, where like but it's with like amateur chemists making animals dance. It's you know what I mean, it's just so wildly ridiculous, and it leaves so much to the imagination of the reader, yet like creates a very specific world within there. So I thought that was great. And so here's what we have to do now, Greg, is we have a new sort of system here where we're going to rate we're gonna put numbers. We're not just gonna talk, we're not just gonna be English analysts about this. Okay. We're gonna be
We're gonna,
quantifiable mathematicians
this is as
about these
empirical as
stories.
it gets.
Yeah. So right now we're doing a scale of 0 to 20 on the character, plot, and setting. So I'll show you how it goes. The characters in this story, I thought that was pretty good. They had some dynamics and conflict and that sort of thing. I'll give him a 15. I'll give him a 15. The plot definitely kept me on my toes, and it was an interesting time. So I'll say another 15. And then the setting, I gave it high praise just now. You heard that. I'll give it an 18 on that. And that's how you do it. That is the radar screen of doom in action. So what say you as far as the I don't know what is going
Yeah,
on?
I agree with you that setting is the strongest thing. It's something about the announcer's voice and the crowd. It just felt like a reality competition in some totally surreal, futuristic world. So I think the setting's the strongest part. I'll agree with you. I'll go full 20. I was super
Wow.
into the setting and the details of the activator, the potion, the animals, is this, all the different what were some of the lines here? It was I really love the judge dancing around and being like, let's see what you've got, cheesy
Yeah.
chestnuts. Will
Yeah.
the bunny start shaking its booty? Like, I could see
Right.
Ryan Seacrest doing that in my
It's
head.
like in the Hunger Games. You know what I mean? How you
Yeah.
have that like over the top animated,
Mhm.
host, much like Clash of the Pencils live stream.
We
I
can
don't
only
know.
aspire. We can
Some say that character was based off of us. So, anyways, all right. What the other two categories? Let's get
The
your
character, I thought so it's two girls, and it seems Olivia and Lila, and then the unnamed narrator, right?
Sure.
My group just finished, just as my friend Lila's handy. So there's the three of them. I felt like there's a little bit of a story there with the mistake, but I didn't get a sense of each individual character's personality. So I'll give that maybe a 12. I think they could have emphasized more of the conflict.
All right. All
Um,
right. Last one.
More
What
of
do you
that.
got
I
on the
want more of
plot?
like the ending when she runs off and then she gives up because of the track and field. I thought that was a nice detail, but it doesn't really integrate in earlier into the story. And then the plot. I thought that, all right, there's success. We know it's going to fail. It's interesting. We know it's going to fail. And then they're like, let's just see what happens. And then boom, boom, boom. And then you get the punchline of this story, or this potion does not work on tigers at the final sort of the crux or the climax of the story. So it kind of feels surprising, but also inevitable. I'll give it a solid 15. I thought this was very well done. The voice, though, is what carried it for me.
All right, there you go. There you have it. A interesting radar chart of doom that is formed here. Fairly wide circle. One as you see there, touching the outer edges, which is always an achievement. So let's see. There you have it, folks. Wow, gotta love it. And then let's see. Here's the total chart that I don't know. There you go. There's only one story on it, so we don't really know what's going on there. Let's go on to our next story of the day. That's coming in from Marvin the Microbe.
As soon as the child thought he was safe, a flash of orange emerged from the undergrowth. Jaws opened wide as the massive beast ran straight towards the vulnerable kid named Jonas. He ran, screaming in surprise, "I wish I didn't leave the tour group. This was a bad idea." He ran straight from the noise of paw crunching on the falling leaves. The trees were everywhere in this bamboo jungle, blocking his path from running in a smooth, straight line. If he found a narrow path through the bamboo, maybe he could escape. Jonas felt around for a small bottle in his pocket that said, "Sedation potion. Warning, extremely slippery." In small print underneath were the words, "This potion does not work on tigers." He didn't care. He didn't need to make the tiger drink the concoction. He needed the tiger to slip on it like a banana peel. Thus the child quickly uncapped it and dumped the bottle on the floor and threw it into the forest. Jonas caught a glimpse of sunlight as he glanced up into the trees. He had no time to waste now, though, and quickly got back to running. I wish my mom and dad could stay with me longer. I only got 8 whole years with them before I got lost in the forest. Suddenly, he heard a loud growling noise far behind him. That meant the big cat likely slipped. It might buy a little bit of time, but he knew it wouldn't help him create a large enough margin to find some sign of civilization. Jonas heard the noise of gushing water to his left, and he quickly took a turn. Suddenly, a flare gun was found on the ground. He swooped in to pick it up and quickly shot it up as a huge stream of red smoke left behind a large trail for rescuers to find him. A loud noise boomed somewhere up above. He just had to hope that would help rescuers find him, because it was either that or certain death by tiger mauling. A few minutes had passed, and there weren't any more growling noises behind him. Water, sparkling in the bright sun, flowed right by in the creek as he stood up. Noisy and loud, a chopper appeared overhead, with a large synthetic rope stretching down. This was the end, and he would get back home. Jonas slowly climbed the rope, exhausted from the long chase. The tiger suddenly appeared and jumped up, whining as the rope slowly rose up into the helicopter and watched what was going to be its prey fly away from it.
All right, Jonas learns an important lesson of why you should stick with the tour group. Gets lost in the jungle as an 8-year-old child, and chased by a tiger. Basically, chased by a tiger until finally escaping, finding a tour group, and jumping onto a rope of a helicopter just as the tiger, come. It's kind of like, it's like Jurassic, but you know what I mean? It's like at the very end, it's like, it almost gets it. It's like,
very
next time,
cinematic.
I'll be here. You know what I mean? You'll be back.
Yeah, I thought the opening hook was great. Because we get the gesture towards the tiger without saying the tiger. We get the flash of orange emerged from the undergrowth. And it's right after, as soon as a child thought he was safe. So we're putting conflict right up into that front thing. This had a lot of energy in terms of its plot. It was always going forward, but it was also very rational. It was we were always calculating how far ahead, what can I do, how do I keep it ahead. I felt like if we had my favorite line was how they used in the small print underneath were the words, "This potion does not work on tigers." And he's reading that as he's running away from the tiger that's right behind him. He has time to read the small print and then improvise a fairly clever plan. I'm still a little confused on the mechanics of pouring a potion and having it be like an oil slick in this kind of like...
the fine print said that it said sedation potion, warning, extremely slippery. So he read the warning and then the fine print that said, this potion does not work on tigers. So it's
if you're gonna make, after you make a tiger slip, I feel like it's gonna be even more enraged.
Right. Anti-effect of the potion. So yeah, hit me with your 1 to 20 here, 0 to 20 on the. So you said the plot was strong. What's your plot number on there?
Let's go with a solid 15. Solid 15 on the plot. I mean, there were 3 different things that kind of happened, which is about the extent you can have happen in a one-page story. There, in terms of setting, we get it early, and I always think it's a good idea to give your readers the ability to imagine where you are. So putting that in the second paragraph here, we've got the trees were everywhere in this bamboo jungle, blocking his path from running in a smooth, straight line. If he found a narrow path through the bamboo, maybe he could escape. And so that the obstacle here is not only the tiger, but trying to find a path through it. So I would give the setting, and then at the end with the flare gun, and then the rescue. That feels also pretty successful. Maybe a 16.
Okay.
The thing what I wanted more from was Jonas. I want more about the only real thing that I found was that he had the line, I wish my mom and dad could stay with me longer. I only got 8 years with them before I got lost in the forest. And so that was the only real relationships about what he was going back to. And so we know he's an 8-year-old and he's running as fast as he can, and he got lost on a tour. That's about all we know. So in terms of character development, maybe a 9. No, 20.
Yeah, I think you're I'm right there with you here. Because I don't know. I think that there was a yeah, the character was just kind of undeveloped is the issue here. The otherwise it's the plot is strong. I would give the plot I'll give the plot like an 18. You know what I mean? The setting I thought was there, but unlike in the first one where it was undescribed and this magical world that left my imagination vivid, like this, by doing that here, I just kind of got a generic jungle. You know what I mean? I didn't really, and like it's in the world. I don't know. It was too. It didn't give me enough detail to really appreciate it. Whereas the lack of detail in the last one kind of helped me build a bigger world. I don't know how to describe that in a clinical term, but I'm only going to give the setting a 10 on this one. And then the characters we discussed was also sort of a actually the setting I'm going to check that. I'm going to give the setting a I'll give the setting a 14. It was good. It was strong. Had some strong action words and dynamics. So yeah, gotta give it where the givens do. What? I don't know. All right, so there you have it. There is that radar chart of doom for Marvin the Microbe. What does it mean? No one really knows. So got to keep it moving, folks. We are on our last story of the day.
Cherie looked around as she quietly tiptoed into the back of the alleyways. Making sure no one saw her, she hid behind a trash can, waiting for her watch to send her a message. The strong, overpowering smell of fish came from the dumpster. She covered her nose and gagged at the thought of dead fish. Minutes later, after a moment of a suffering stench, she got a message from her partner, Rayleigh. "I'm here. I have the potion," Rayleigh texted Cherie, peeked out from the trash bin and exchanged a nod with Rayleigh. They had to be as quiet as possible, careful to not get spotted by the Watchers. They were a group of highly trained soldiers, hundreds of them lurking around, disguised as regular people. They were careful to make sure no one spotted them so they could catch more crooks. Once caught by the Watchers, you would be put on a guilty case. They could ruin your life just because you littered. The Watchers were superior, showing no mercy, and everyone fell to their command. The potion had to be well hidden. They were trying to experiment on animals, trying to shapeshift into different objects to escape this terrible boundary, called the box. The box was a large area surrounded by covered fences. No one could see what was going on outside, and no one could see what was going on inside. No one ever escaped, and if they had, no one had ever returned. If you were caught talking about the outside of the box, you would be caught and put on guilty trial. It was rumored that monsters lurked outside, and if you misbehaved more than 3 times, you would be tossed outside to face these hungry beasts. Rayleigh and Cherie were always careful not to get caught. The girls wanted to escape using animals while still being somewhat safe. After ocean animals did not work, they tried to test on land animals. Their last option today was a tiger. Quickly, they entered the back of the building, which smelled like rotten fish, and hurried past the old lady who ate fish every day to their secret headquarters. There, they had a tiger in a cage. Rayleigh realized she had forgotten to feed the tiger for a day. Scared at what would happen if the cage broke, Rayleigh made sure to test out the potion first thing when they got in. Suddenly, the door burst open. "Secret watcher, check," a watcher called out. "Quick!" Cherie started panicking. She put the potion in the tiger and tossed the rest of it to Rayleigh, hoping that they could transform into those tigers. "This potion does not work on tigers," Cherie called out, as her transformation was still not happening. The watcher immediately called for backup, and sirens of many cars started to increase in volume. Rayleigh started to shake, scared that they would be put on guilty trial, but in the last second she felt a poof and she became a tiger.
All right, so I'm pretty sure that, like, remember the first story, and I was like, this is like a little glimpse into a window off the street of somewhere. I'm pretty sure this is the rest of that world, is what's going on there. I don't have a great recap description of what's going on, so I'm just going to kick it to you to start doing the 0 to 20 analysis from your end.
All right. Well, we're clearly in a dystopian fiction. This is, and it's an interesting genre. Right away, we get so much world building. We get Rayleigh and Cherie, and those are the two, and they're against the whole society here, and trying to sort of outsmart the Watchers. When we get, "I'm here, I have the potion," Rayleigh texted to Cherie, peeked out from the trash bin, and exchanged a nod with Rayleigh. So they're trying not to get spotted by these Watchers. And then the whole premise that is so wild here, and I thought is what really, really great imagination, is the setting. They were trying to shapeshift into different objects to escape this terrible boundary called the box. And then we just get this pure exposition. We just get a lot of details about what would happen. It's a large area surrounded by covered forest. No one could see what was going on outside. No one ever escaped. And if they had, no one had ever returned. But if you were caught talking about it, you were put on a guilty trial. Not on trial, a guilty trial.
It sounds like that enchanted forest that the coach had to capture the flag game in.
Yeah. This is a dangerous setting. Not only from the actual like environment, but from the people watching it in this kind of dystopian realm. My favorite line, I was just laughing when I heard it. "Quickly they entered the back of the building, which smelled like rotten fish, and hurried past the old lady who ate fish every day to their secret headquarters." I want more about that old lady who's eating fish every day. That detail is kind of everything for me. So that gives us another sort of visceral smell description. They're experimenting on the animals. And then we get the fact that the potion doesn't work on tigers. Cherie calls out, but that's mistaken. And at the very last second, when, the Watchers are encircling them and it seems like their fate is sealed, the potion actually does work. They turn into tigers, and we're left to assume that this tiger can now escape out of the box.
Yeah. So, you didn't give me any numbers. You gave me a very good, very, very good, eloquent, interesting analysis. I need numbers.
I'd say the setting here is a 19. It's close. Okay. It's close to perfection.
Yeah. What do you got for the plot?
The plot, I'll give it a less of maybe a 14.
Okay.
The reason why it's a 14 feels to me like it seemed like, all right, they were trying to, it was so much of the world building got packed into the front of the story that it came at the expense of actually having things happen. And then it felt like we had to accelerate to get to the end. And then the ending, while they turned into tigers, I would have liked to have known what happens next. It's kind of left to our own. It's on a little bit of a cliffhanger.
All right.
The character development, it seemed like Rayleigh and Cherie, they wanted out of this society, and they were very careful, and they were pretty good agents as part of this resistance, doing their experiments. I didn't get a sense of their personalities, though. I didn't get a sense of them individually and what they wanted. I know they wanted to escape, but I would have liked a little bit more character development in terms of what was driving them. So I'll give that one maybe a 12.
A 12. All right, very good. There you have it. I will have to sort of agree. I think that I'm going to give the setting and the plot both 20s. That was fantastic. And the characters, give them a 12, you know? All right. I got to run real quick to the door as we have a package.
Now fade your rings on a great heat lapse. Feel like a lizard again. Sweat it out, let it pour. Burn the dance floor. Free lifetime membership. There are 100 classes. Come and dance, come and sweat. This feel you won't regret. Feel the beat in your bones. Stretch it out, lose control. Groovy moves, energy high. Dance with us, touch the sky. Free lifetime membership. There are 100 classes. Come and dance, come and sweat. This feel you won't regret.
And we are back. All right, 3 excellent stories here today. It's interesting that it seems like the setting and the plot for all 3, if we could look at this, it seems like the character development is going to be the thing that was the hardest thing to accomplish with This Potion Does Not Work on Tiger Stories. And it feels like the fact that we have that line, which is so dramatic, it's kind of a ready-made plot. And then the setting is going to be some sort of interesting space between humans and animals. Notice that all 3 of these main characters were humans doing some sort of experiment on animals. But it was interesting that the first one was in some sort of Hunger Games style reality competition that was almost surreal with a lot of energy. The second one was just this visceral, like cartoon escape. And then the third one was this very, very dystopian vibe. And so it's 3 very different settings, but all of them kind of crescendoed to put This Potion Does Not Work on Tigers in the climax of at some sort of point in which the plot was going to hinge. And that changed the world after it. So excellent work. We can then, as Tom gets his headphones back here.
Wow, Greg, that was just fantastic stretching. I'm not going to lie. That was, I didn't think you had it in you, and you did, obviously. Fantastic stuff. So anyways, here's our current radar chart of doom. As you can see, it's all pretty good. I don't know. Last thing we got to do is run through the top 5 sentences of the day and check out the next prompt, I guess. Did you already go through any of that? I don't know.
I've not gone through. It's a reverse Mad Libs.
Nice. Reverse Mad Libs. You'll see the words. Here are our top 5 sentences of the day. The potion had to be well hidden. They were trying to experiment on animals, trying to shapeshift into different objects to escape this terrible boundary called the box. Let's see what you've got, cheesy chestnuts. Will the bunny start shaking its booty? Squeezing my hands together hard, I sighed in relief as the bunny started jumping and zigzagging around. Jonas slowly climbed the rope, exhausted from the long chase. The tiger suddenly appeared and jumped up, whining, as the rope slowly rose up into the helicopter and watched what was going to be its prey fly away from it. The watcher immediately called for backup, and sirens of many cars started to increase in volume. Rayleigh started to shake, scared of that they would be put on guilty trial, but in the last second, she felt a poof and became a tiger. As soon as the child thought he was safe, a flash of orange emerged from the undergrowth. Jaws opened wide, and the massive beast ran straight towards the vulnerable kid named Jonas. He ran, screaming in surprise. I wish I didn't leave the tour group. This was a bad idea. Bad idea it was.
Don't leave those tour group kids.
Young Jonas. Cautionary tale. All right, well, there you have it. That was the Clash of the Pencils live stream. Who won? I'll tell you, the Huntsman.
Wow.
That's what the computer told me. So there you have it. We will see you next week with another rousing tales.
And kids, don't let your... Are we doing the sign off?
Yeah. Keep
kids,
sharp.
Don't let your creativity be captured.
Turn on the street tonight. Short stories in the spotlight. Writers bring their best to light. Story Central Time. Breaking down the plot. Characters that fought, twists that hit the spot, is all you live tonight. Are you ready for some stories in a live stream glory? It's the contest of the year. Writers have no fear. Catch the suspense unfold. Feel the tales being told. Critiques fair and bold. The truth will soon be known. Jawless from far and wide. Mysteries you can't hide. Every twist takes the door right. By these rules we abide. Are you ready for some stories?